Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week and a wonderful trading week. Right, please hit subscribe and the like button so that you can get a notification next time I post the video and it can go to as many people as possible. Thank you very much for watching. All right, so this week's theme is the mathematical relationship of the Elliott Wave principle. So that is the Elliott Wave principle mathematical relationship. So this theory has been researched and it's got there's enough back testing for us to rely on it. So today what I'm just going to show is something that I've shown before is what wave theory is. What is wave theory? We're going to look at that for about 10 minutes, just a sneak preview of what wave theory is. We're trading the Elliott wave theory and we combine it with a special indicator that gets us out of the wrong trades and save a lot of our trades that could have otherwise been incorrect. So I'm gonna give just a basic of what Elliott wave theory is, and to understand it better we need to understand the Elliott wave relationship with mathematics or science. Okay, so before we get started, if you want to contact me, you can contact me via my contact details you'll find on the description of all the videos. Any video that you'll be watching on my channel will have my contact details. If you just scroll down to the description, you'll find my contact details there and the different social media platforms. I see there's some people who inbox me on TradingView. If you inbox me on TradingView, you're not gonna get a response fast enough because I hardly check that. But any other social media platform you can use, especially through our website. If you go to our website on ElliottWavePrinciple.com, that is where you can contact us easily. If you go to the bottom right hand corner, there is a chat box. If you send any inquiry or if you need more detail about our courses or our services, you just go down into the chat box. This comes straight into our email and you'll get a response I think faster than any other media platform that you can, social media platform that you can use. Right, so that's where you're gonna find all the details about our services, the courses and the subscription plans. Just a bit of information on the subscription plans. There is no monthly subscription. They start from 3 months. There's a reason for that. The reason for that is you will not necessarily understand how we look at the charts or how we look at wave theory if you just come in for a month. We want you to stay for at least a minimum of 3 months. Then you will see exactly how this works. So the advantage with that is even if you take a 3 months or a 4 months plan and you wish to upgrade to a full course, which then gives you 12 months access into the premium plan, you can always do that. You can upgrade. So if that means if you took the premium plan and you see that this is interesting and you actually want to learn more, then you can upgrade and you don't have to pay any more than what you would have already paid. So that is how that works on there. So that is how it's gonna work. And our next course is going to be from the 8th of January. We had a very successful course in April. That was for about 2 weeks and it was nice because that was during lockdown. Most people are available. So we had a number of sessions of that course. So the course is usually 10 days. Okay, it's a 10-day course and that will include 12 months of mentorship and access to all our services. These are all our services here on the website. So we've got a daily live webinar that starts during London time that we run for an hour. And this is just a link. And we look at all these pairs that are listed here. You will see as we do the analysis, all these pairs that are listed and all the pairs that I'm going to go through today are listed on the website. So that means at any time, you can always refer to that. So for those that are in different time zones, they can get the recording of the London trading room. All right, and educational videos. So this is where you're going to get access to the course. So the course is recorded and it's available on the website. Okay, it's available on the website. So the idea with the live course in June is so that you can we can be interactive and you can ask questions, unlike just watching the videos on your own. So if you purchase the course, you watch the course, and then in June we have a live course going through the same things, but this time you will have an opportunity to ask questions. So that's what we've got there. All right, so we also have trade setups on there. So trade setup, we post trades in our Slack group. So that on the Slack group, that's where you'll find other Elliott Wave traders that look at the charts with the same eyes, because they've got the same training. So that's where the daily webinars are, and then this is where some of our trade setups are. I'm going to go through some of the trade setups just now. All right, so let's go through that. Trade setups. Let's just look at what we're looking at in the last week. I'm going to be updating some of these as we go along today. Okay. So I posted a setup on AUD US dollar last week. So this is what we're expecting of AUD US dollar. So this trade setup did not go as we had forecasted. So what happened was this one came down here, and then it made a bounce, and it is currently at this level. Okay, so we're going to be updating this structure. This trade has been invalidated, has not played out as we expected. So some of the trades that are currently running is pound US dollar. So if you look at pound US dollar, we took the trade here and it dropped around this level, but at this stage we have a retraced to around the 1.24 level. So we'll be looking for continuation pattern to come down to this level. We'll see this one as we go down, as we start with the analysis on this. So this is pound US dollar and AUD US dollar as well. We also looked at AUD US dollar, made a corrective structure here, dropped here, and then we've come back up here. So basically the market is just going sideways in this week, right? So that's what we're going to be looking at. So let's look at the US dollar pairs from the website. This is going to give you an idea of how we look at the charts. So this is what I'm going to be doing when we look at the market. So euro pairs. So euro pairs, you'll see that they have been exactly the same structure that we looked at for the last 3 weeks. For example, if we look, not the euro pairs, rather the US dollar pairs. So let's go to the US dollar pairs just to get an indication of how that works. So the US dollar pairs have been inch perfect. Okay, so we have got this analysis put up here. These charts have been posted here from the 25th of April, and currently we've got all the moves that have been forecasted. So we currently, in the last 2 weeks, we made a move up here, if you remember, on Euro US dollar, and we have now come down to this level. Now this has pulled back here. So I'm going to do an update on what we expect the next move to be on Euro US dollar, right? So this is Euro US dollar and how this has played out. We've made a move up, we've made a move down here. You can just check your charts. So this move to the downside is incomplete at this stage. We've got a pullback here. So we'll be expecting it to continue lower. Let's look at the rest of them setups. This was Euro US dollar, pound US dollar. So pound US dollar as well. This, we had a trade on this one. We had made a move here, actually pushed a little bit further than we expected, and has made this move to the downside. So this is the trade setup which we actually took right here as it was coming down. So that is what we're going to be looking at on pound US dollar, right? And the next one was US dollar CAD. Very interesting pair, playing out inch perfect as we've forecasted. We actually forecasted this one when it was still here. I've shown in the last week where we forecasted the move to the upside and the move to the downside. So what has happened so far? We've got the move to the upside. This has now come down to this level. We've got a pullback at this level, and it is now continuing exactly as we forecasted that it was going to come down to this level. Has not reached this level yet, so I'll be updating the markets just now. All right, so that is US dollar CAD, and just looking at the rest, let's just, for completeness, let's just complete the rest of the US dollar pairs. Let's go back here. Can't find my chart here. So this is Euro US dollar. There we go. Okay, so that is US dollar and US dollar chief, as well as the dollar index. As you can see, this is exactly what we forecasted, that it's going to come down. It isn't going to make a move to the upside. Now we've got a pullback. So I'm going to be doing an update on this. So that is how accurate the US dollar pairs have been in the last couple of weeks, and that is how they have played out. Okay, so US dollar pairs, and also just looking at the dollar index. Let's look at the dollar index. Looking at the dollar index, this is what we expected. You can see it's exactly the same structure as US dollar chief. They are directly correlated. It makes a move down here. It makes a move to the upside. Now we've got a pullback. What does that pullback mean? Does that mean that the move has ended? That is what we're going to do an update on. All right. Right, so that is how we look at the charts, and you find all these charts listed on the website, and it's not just one time frame. I'm only opening the 1 hour time frame. So if you wanted to look at the bigger picture of the whole structure, this is what you do. You just go to either the weekly chart. It's going to give you the view in the weekly, so you can see that from here we had forecasted that US dollar CAD was going to make a move to the upside here exactly at this level, and we're going to drop. We're currently dropping here, and the forecast is for this move to go all the way down. That's why you see the forecast on US dollar CAD looking downside here. That's because it's coming from the weekly chart. Okay, so that is how that is structured there. So the weekly on US dollar CAD, you can go to the daily as well. So as you go down into the lower time frame, you can see that's just giving you a bit more detail. All right, so that is how we look at the chart. So there is a clear relationship with the Elliott Wave theory and mathematics. So I haven't looked at the cryptocurrencies. The cryptocurrencies have also played out inch perfect as we have analyzed. We've reached the targets, and now they are now pulling back, all of them. Okay, let me just quickly go to the cryptocurrencies. I'll just look at Bitcoin because we're still gonna do a detailed analysis on this as we start with the market analysis shortly. So looking at the cryptocurrencies, we also have cryptocurrencies listed here. We had forecasted that these were gonna reach up to around the 9,000 level because we were looking at this structure here, and we have reached our targets here. I've mentioned 9,000 a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. As it was building up here, we have been looking for this to do that. So the structure we were simply looking for was this, and now has reached that 9,000 level that we wanted. Now the question is, from this level, do we see a reversal or do we see a pullback? Currently, we've got an impulsive move, so I'll be updating the structure that I think is going to play out on the cryptocurrencies. They all have similar structures, except the other cryptocurrencies have got 11 swing sequence, that is WXYXZ structures, not this one. Let me just go back to one that has got a 5-wave structure. They're all similar. They just have these structures, W, X, Y, X, Z. This one was not updated, so this is W, X, Y, X, Z. That is exactly how these have played out. You'll see as you do the market analysis now. Right, so let's get started. I think I've already spent so much time here with the intro, so we'll look at the mathematical relationship as we go along of the wave theories. The relationship with the wave theory is based on Fibonacci, and that is the gist of the Elliott Wave theory. You see that we don't look at support and resistance. So if we don't look at support and resistance, that means there has to be some way of looking at that we use of looking at the levels, and that is the Fibonacci levels. That is what we use. Now I want to refer you rather to a video that I've done a couple of years ago. I think it must be 2 or 3 years back. Look for that video on my channel. It's called, I usually tag it on the videos. It's called How to Trade Elliott Wave WXYXZ Like a Pro. If you look at this video, this is going to give you a good idea of how we look at the charts. So this is the video. If you watch this video, it's going to give you a very good indication of the Elliott Wave. It's got about 51,000 views, so a lot of people are interested in it. So it's going to give you a good indication of the mathematical relationship between with the Elliott Wave principle. So look at this video, check it out. It's about 20 minutes, so it's a 30-minute video. I think it answers a lot of questions. And if you watch the video and you want to learn more, then you can contact us on our website. Let's start with the market analysis for this week. And we're obviously going to start with the cryptocurrencies. Let's start with the cryptocurrencies. Right, so we'll start with the cryptocurrencies now. Let's look at Bitcoin and the Bitcoin structure. Currently on the 1 hour chart. Very clear structure. We've got a three-wave structure on Bitcoin. Just check here. Right, so we've got a three-wave structure here. I've just updated this one after the move here. So we have got a clear three-wave structure that has ended. This has been going up correctively, and if you look in the lower degree in the green, you'll see that we've got three up here. We've got, let's use the green as the same as the degree. Let's use the green color. You'll see that we also have here three waves up in green, three waves back in green, and three waves up here. Right, so three waves back here in green again, and three waves up here in green. That is how we've completed this structure. So this one just needs to be corrected here. This purple is actually the green degree. So it's a green minute degrees. Just do it quickly. So this is the green, and it's the minute degree. Just so it can be the same degree as the first leg. That is the green minute degree. Now, inch perfect, everything aligns. That's why we focused that this is going to come to 9,000. Yes, it has pushed up slightly higher to almost 10,000 here, but that is how we had focused that. Now we're looking for this. Look out for a pullback here for at least another move to the downside. We should get a move back to around this area. First, we're going to get to about 38%, but overall, we should pull back to about 50 to 61% on this move, because this is corrective. Okay, so we'll be looking for a pullback on Bitcoin to around 50% of this whole move. So if you take a retracement tool from there to there, and then you get the 50%, that is where we're looking to get a pullback on Bitcoin. That's what we're going to be looking at. We already have a pulsing move. Now we're looking for a corrective structure, and then a continuation to the downside. So that is how all the cryptocurrencies have played out. You'll see that the structure, you can take a snapshot of the labeling as well. It's inch perfect, everything fits. And looking at Ethereum is one of those that have got an 11 swing sequence structure. As you can see there, that is W, X, Y, X, Z. If you look at the red degree, let's just take off one there. If you look at the red degree, could duplicate there. If you look at the red degree, it is three waves up, three waves back, three waves up, three waves back, and three waves up. That is an 11 swing sequence. Okay, so W, X, Y, X, Z, structure complete. We focused that it was going to come to about 2010, 210. All right, so when this was still right at the bottom here, if you look at some of the previous videos. So we have now reached this level. We have now started a move to the downside in three waves. So we'll be looking for continuation to the downside. Similarly here, we'll be looking for it to retrace to about 50%. Okay, so that's going to be giving an opportunity again to invest again in the cryptocurrencies at a cheaper price, right? So that is what we've got. We're expecting pullbacks. So that this pullback is starting again in the green degree. So it's going to be something like this WX, and then we'll be looking for a move back here to around the 50% area on Ethereum. Looking very clear. Litecoin, similar structure as Ethereum as well. You can see 11 swing sequence. Why do I call it 11 swing sequence? That is because we've got three waves up in W. The X we count as one, and then we've got another three waves up in Y. The X we count as one, and we've got another 1, 2, 3 here in Z. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 swings. That is why we call the WXYXZ 11 swings. So the X's we count as one wave. Those are connectors. 1, 2, 3, we've already started a move to the downside. So that is a lower degree. So you don't see the lower degree here, but there should be an ABC structure here. This is three waves, so WXY. You also have WXY here. This I was just avoiding to clutter the chart. We've got a WXY structure here. That is how we've got this corrective structure. The green that I've put on in the annotation that I'm using currently is the lower degree than the Z. So now we've started a move to the downside. So that downside is also starting in a green degree, and we'll be looking for something like this. So look out for this corrective structure, the correction that I've just drawn here. That is the corrective structure that you're going to be looking for. That is the X here, and continuation to the downside on Litecoin. Ripple, the same 11 swing sequence. You can see they've all made the same structures from the beginning of March. This is the structure that we've made, and in this case, again, another 11 swing sequence. If I show this one in red degree, X here running flat, Y here, three waves, X here, 3 waves, and Z 3 waves. So another 11 swing sequence. Okay, W, X, Y, X, Z, and then we start a move to the downside. Okay, pullback, same as the rest. Then we'll be looking for continuation to the downside to the 50% of this corrective move. That's how we're looking at the cryptocurrencies. Now let's look at the
It's going to take an hour or two.
Now looking at the indices, let's look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 and all the indices I have been forecasting. I've been forecasting a corrective structure since this started here. So we have been looking for this here. Looking for this here. And this has not played out as I was expecting, because I was expecting that after this 3-way move, we're going to have a continuation to the downside. So I was looking at that because of this strong impulsive move to the downside. And then I was looking for this to do this 1, 2, 3 and make one more move to the downside before we get a move to the upside. So this has not played out. And when your analysis doesn't play out, you have to go back and see what you did not see. And when you look at the weekly chart, you can actually see exactly why this is going to make a move. This is making a continuation pattern to the upside. So I did not update this. I wanted this to do while you guys are looking at it, so you can see the adjustment that we need to make here. So this is what we were looking at, and this is the reason why we were looking for the pullback and then the corrective structure. So let's just make adjustments here so you can see where this is coming from. So currently what you see here on the blue degree is a 5-wave move to the upside, which we were looking at to have completed, and we'll be looking for a pullback like this. So this is why I was looking for this up here and continuation to the downside before continuation to the upside. But looking at this structure, you can, and looking at, obviously this is in hindsight. So this is in hindsight. Looking at this structure, this is the initial focus. This is what we saw here. We're looking at these two have completed the 5th wave here. But now in hindsight, when you look at this, let's clear everything here so we can adjust the structure. 1, 2 here, that's the 2nd wave here. Now when you look at this, it's clear that the 4th wave is only currently what is happening here, and it's happening with this expanding flat. Let's just make this adjustment. There's the expanding flat there. Let's make this adjustment. Now if that is an expanding flat, that means this was only our wave 4, and that means this, we're still going to come up for a wave 5, and that means the structure is still not yet complete. Unfortunately, we did not get that, and that happens. That's what we're seeing with the naked eye. Okay, so that was the forecast. Otherwise, you should just look at it now. That is the adjustment, and that is what we're looking at now. We're looking at the 5 waves in the blue degree. We've only completed the 4, and this wave 4 is actually makes much more sense than the initial wave 4 that we were looking at here. This is the wave 4 that we were looking at. It's much smaller compared to this one here. Okay, so this wave 4 actually makes much more sense for us to complete the structure here. So if this is the case, that means we've already started an impulsive move here. We should see a pullback, no longer a reversal. We should see a pullback before we make a continuation to the upside to complete that wave 5 in blue. Okay, so if that is a structure on the S&P 500, that is what we're going to be seeing in the NASDAQ and the Dow as well. So let's look at those structures. But before that, let's look at the S&P 500 in the lower degree again. Let's go back in the lower degrees. This was the weekly, 1 hour. Okay, let's make these adjustments. So on the 1 hour, this is what we're going to be looking at. We've got an impulsive move here in 3 waves. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3. We're looking for this one to be a 4, and then a 5 before we get a pullback. Okay, so the pullback can be back up to 38 or 50% before continuation to the upside. So that is what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking for this one to make a continuation to the upside. Either this makes a pullback. If it makes a pullback, that simply means that this is a regular flat and this is our wave 4 here. So we're looking for this to continue higher. All right, so that is the S&P 500. Obviously, the Dow Jones Industrial, and the transportation should confirm the same. So we'll be looking for this one to pull back in wave 4 and then continuation to the upside. Okay, so if you see this pullback, that will mean only a pullback for a wave 4, and then we should continue higher. Okay, before we get a pullback. That is the Dow on the 1 hour. Transportation, we saw the transportation break higher to confirm Remember what we said about the Dow Jones and industrial and the transportation. They need to confirm each other's highs trends. So that means if it continues, if the Dow Jones industrial continues making higher highs, if it continues making higher highs and the Dow transportation confirms the same, then that means we've got a trend to the upside. But if the Dow starts doing this and does not confirm the new high that the industrial makes, that means the trend has ended and this is going to follow and this is going to follow. That is what we saw here when the reversal occurred on the daily. Let's look at that. We're looking at the transportation. So if you look at the transportation, I think we can put up two charts here. Look at the transportation at the top. I've shown this one previously. So we've got Dow transportation at the top, and at the bottom, I want to put in the industrial, Dow Jones Industrial. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial. Right, so the industrial at the bottom, and I want it also on the daily. Now, this is what we call relative strength, not the relative strength index, relative strength. So this is how this one has reversed. So last week and the week before we said, if the transportation makes a new high and confirms, that means we've got an uptrend here. Right, so what happened here when the market reversed? Look what happened. The Dow Jones Industrial makes a new high, but the transportation makes a new low. That means the trends, the relative strength between the two is not confirming each other. So that means the trend has ended. That is why we got the reversal. Even if this was making a new high, the industrial was making a new high, but because the transportation was already showing a lower low, that's why we've got this move to the downside. So 2 weeks ago, we said this has made a move to the upside here. This one had made a move to the upside. Now, this made this new high here. This made a pullback here. So we said this will only confirm upside if the transportation makes a new high as well. And the transportation makes a new high, although we can see the pullback, but the fact that they have both made new highs, that means they're confirming each other. So the trend must still continue here. So the trend must still continue on the Dow Jones Industrial and the transportation. So there's no sign of reversal at this stage. So let's go back to one. Let's go back to one chart. One screen there, and look at the industrial. So on the industrial, similar as the S&P 500, we're looking for this one to make one more move to the upside. Let's go to the lower time frame, 1 hour. So we're also looking here for a pullback. If we see a pullback here, that will be a wave forward, and then we should see another continuation to the upside. All right, that is the Dow and the NASDAQ will have a similar structure. 5 waves up. This one is already on its 5th wave. We're looking for this one to just push higher. Then we'll look for a pullback before continuation to the upside. That is the NASDAQ. Right, the UK 100. UK 100. Let's have a look here. So the UK 100, we should see continuation to the upside in another 3 waves. So we've got this one here. We've got 1, 2. We've got a running flat here. Let's identify the running flat here. This is the running flat. 1, 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and 5 waves to the downside. That is the running flat. It breaks the top, does not break the lows. That's what we've got. 1, 2, 3. Move to the upside. So we should see a pullback here and then continuation to the upside on the UK 100. That is the focus. So we're looking for this one to do this and then continue higher. So the structure we'll be looking for is a WXY structure on the UK 100. See this 3 waves to the upside, we'll expect the same 3 waves here to complete this structure. So this one is going up correctively, unlike the S&P 500, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. So that's what we're looking for here. So there's no confirmation of this pullback as yet. So that structure can also go sideways. The X does not have to be a zigzag. This X can also go sideways like this. Can also be 1, 2, 3, pullback, and 1, 2, 3. So we just focused the normal structure, which is a zigzag. That is what we that's what we put in as a three-wave correction. But the fact is, it can be any three-wave corrective structure in here. That is the UK 100. Let's look at the DAX. DAX, similar to the UK 100, we've got a move to the upside here in three waves. Is this now an expanding flat, or rather a running flat? Are we going to see another three waves to the upside? Let's show this three waves in the lower degree. We've got this here as 1, 2, 3. We'll be expecting 1, 2, 3 here. That means that's a WXY structure. It's coming up in three waves. There are no 5 waves impulse, so we don't label if it is not there. We don't label something that is not there. Here we're seeing a three-wave move to the upside, and we'll be looking for this one to to continue higher, a pullback, and another move to the upside. That is the DAX. Nikkei making a 1, 2, 3. Looks like we're going to have an ending diagonal in wave C. So we've got A, B here, and the wave C, it looks to be ending with a diagonal here. So we'll be looking at something like this. A, B, C structure here. See here, if that is the case, we should see a pullback, and that pullback will result in a structure like this. So the ABC is one wave, back, and continuation to the upside. So that means a WXY structure in the higher degree. So this is indicative of a continuation move to the upside on the indices, WXY. Okay. Not very clear, but that's what we're going to be looking for. A bit of a continuation to the upside, a pullback, and continuation to the upside. That is the Nikkei, NIFTY. NIFTY has made 3 waves up. That is A, B, and C. Now we're looking for this one to make a 3-wave structure here, and another 3 waves, W, X, XY. So that's what we're looking for on the NIFTY. All right, so that's the structure that we're looking for on the indices. Still continuation to the upside. Doesn't look like there is reversal. We're going to see continuation on the indices. The cryptos, as we've indicated, we're going to be expecting pullbacks. Now, let's go to the major pairs. That is the US dollar pairs. We'll start with the dollar index. Now, looking at the dollar index, and I'm going to go back again to the site. Let's look at the dollar index. Something on the chat box. Dollar index, I want to look at it on the website. Let's just clean this up here. Right, let's look at the US dollar pairs. Let's go back to our chart on the dollar index. Let's start with the dollar index, then we'll do the rest. Now, looking at the dollar index, we've already made these 3 moves here. Get my annotation tool again. We've already made these 2 moves, rather. Move to the downside, and a move up here, up to this level. Now we've got the pullback here, and that pullback looks pretty strong. Okay, now let's have a look at that and the possible structure that we could form there. Let's put it up. So that's what we looked at. That was the focus. So this has made this deep pullback here. If that is the pullback that we're getting, that may change the structures slightly. That means we may not go all the way up to C, but Euro is showing a different structure. You'll see why there's a bit of a conflict here between the 2 pairs, Euro, US dollar, and DXY, that are supposed to be inversely correlated. So we've got a pullback here. I'm going to switch off the labeling and just show the structure. Now, looking at the structure I was looking for is this one here. Was for this to make this move here, correction here, and a move to the upside. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 wave structure. Now, this structure may be a bit more complex than what we initially focused it. Okay, this is the reason why we've got this one to the downside and focus to the move to the upside. Now, if the structure changes, this is what we're going to look at. If the structure changes, that means this is a corrective structure, and you've got this here in the lower degree. 1, 2, 3. Still the same structure, different path in the corrective structure. So that means that's the A, That's the B, and that will be our C. And then we'll look for this one to continue lower. Let's use this red degree. This structure, this structure. That means this is going to be an A in the higher degree, and a B will be the whole structure here on the dollar index. So we need to see which one plays out here. So if we're looking at an alternative, we're not looking at a change in direction. We're looking at the path, the different path that it can take within the corrective structure. So this is what we're looking for. In this corrective structure, this can either come down here and make this one here, the yellow structure that's identified there, or if it continues here, as we initially forecasted, that means it's going to be forming this initial structure 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Either way, that's still the same structure that we'll be looking for, like this. The internal structure does not change the external structure. It may take different paths within the structure here, but it will still be the A in the higher degree here, a bigger B here, and a bigger C. Structure has not changed on the external structure here. So let's look at the euro. Look at euro US dollar and look at the inverse. So euro US dollar is doing exactly the opposite of what the dollar index is doing, right? Let's look at the euro. Let's switch on the labeling here. So euro, the forecast has been for this to break out of this structure, which it has, and reverse at this area, which it has after breaking the top here, and we've made a move to the downside here. Now, looking at this, it looks likely that this is a pullback and we're going to continue lower. Okay, if we continue lower, that means the DXY is going to take the initial form that we've shown, and then we're going to then get this. So if I switch this off, that means the structure is going to be intact. And if you look at this, we've had exactly the same thing that is happening now. This sharp pullback that we're seeing here has happened before. Look at this. This is a sharp pullback, 3 waves down. That is why I focused that this is going to be it's a corrective structure. That's why we're going to move to the upside to complete this and then move to the downside. Now we can still have this as a corrective structure to complete the structure, to complete this external structure. It is not surprising that we've got a sharp pullback here and this one here, because this has happened here before. So we'll just be looking at this as a W, 3 waves down, X and a Y. No change in the structure, right? So that's what we're going to be looking at. And if this changes the structure, this one becomes more complex than the DXY. So we're going to have to relook at the whole structure, because if we cannot look at this, we cannot look at this. This will not relate to this. There will not be a good relationship with this, but we may look at it as a running flat or a regular flat in this degree, but that's not a very good looking structure, because this is a bit impulsive to be a correction as well. But we'll just stick with this structure. This is what we're going to be sticking with, this to continue lower here. Okay, that is euro US dollar. We'll wait for that confirmation. You won't miss it, because you have to wait for the confirmation on this one to play out. Right, so that's euro US dollar, pound US dollar. Pound US dollar, I showed a trade on this one. We've got a trade set up on this one, although it has pulled back, but this was the trade that we took here. Moved about 100 pips from here. This was the trade setup. Dropped to about 122 here, about 200 pips drop, and has now pulled back again. But it's pulling back in 3 waves. Now the question is whether this is now going to continue lower. If it continues lower, let's look at the structure. Let's go to the 4-hour. Now looking at the 4-hour on pound, bit of a clutter there. Let's make it full screen so we can see the structure clearly. So this one is more detailed. You can see clearly what we're looking at. So pound US dollar, looking at this structure to be 1, 2, 3. This one is 11 swing sequence. I'm going to show it as 1, and this one to be a 1, 2, 3 wave structure. Now, has this structure ended, and are we ready to make a continuation to the upside? That's still a bit tricky here. It's not confirmed as yet, because this can also be a structure like this. If I take this off, we can also have this one playing out like this. So we need to wait for this confirmation. This can also be a 3 waves down here before we make a move to the upside. So that means one more down before we continue higher. So what we're looking at here, we've got a trade here. Okay, was 200 pips down, has retraced all those gains. Now this could be a pullback that will continue again to the initial target that we anticipated. So we need to wait for this confirmation to see if this is a corrective structure. If it is a corrective structure, you'll see it breaking lower here and continuing to the downside. If it's gonna be the start of the uptrend, you will see this one starting to correct around current levels. Then you'll confirm that this is the structure and this is the three-wave structure that you're looking for. Unfortunately, there are two alternatives, and that is because of the corrective structures that we are currently in this week. That is pound, US dollar CAD, already shown this one. Under trade setups, we're looking at this one to be making a three-wave pullback here. 1, 2, 3 there. Let's switch off the labeling so you can just see the structure. You see three waves down here and a three waves pullback. What we expected here was a three waves also to the downside. So look for continuation to the downside on US dollar CAD. You're looking for downside. If you look for get any pullback here on US dollar CAD, you're taking it down. The structure is WXY. We're still looking for continuation to the downside. That's why we got this one from here, and then we're still looking for it to come down. So that's a simple structure on US dollar CAD. This is still continuing to the downside. US dollar CHF, same as the DXY, no changes there. So we may see this. If euro continues lower, we should see this one do this. Again, here you also have here a pullback, a sharp pullback like you're having here. So that's a sharp pullback and a move to the upside, and a move to the upside. Here you've got a deeper corrective structure here. Now you've got here a clear WXY corrective structure, and that is what we're looking for. We're looking for the last move to the upside here, and the structure that you're looking for externally is this one. 1, 2, and a 3. So we want this one to push a little bit higher, not to reverse at current levels, to push a little bit higher before coming down. So that will correlate with the DXY, the Euro, US, and Euro US dollar as well. Okay, so let's see. This is also at the 50% of this, so we should see this one starting to push higher. All right, so that's US dollar CHF. Now let's look at Audi and New Zealand. Audi and New Zealand, this is the setup that I posted in the week. For those that are in our mailing list, we're looking for this to do this. Okay, back to the 50% before continuation to the upside. So this looks like it's going to make a corrective structure like this. So the corrective structure is going to be sideways instead of the zigzag that we were expecting. Now this looks like it's going to make a move to the upside, move back, and then continuation to the upside. So if the structure continues like this, this will be correlated to what the Euro US dollar is, the Euro US dollar move as well. So 1, 2, 3, and then continuation to the upside. Okay, so that is Audi US dollar. New Zealand is the same. We also expected it to continue from this, just three waves here, a pulse move and a correction. But these three waves, the structure here, what is playing out is actually this. We've got three waves up, and what we're seeing here is that this was actually making three waves down, three waves up, and three waves down. This is a running flat. So we'll be looking for this to form a similar structure here, same as the US dollar, Audi US dollar rather, to form a similar structure here. And that structure is a simple WXY structure that we'll be looking for here. So continuation to the upside, pullback will be another continuation to the upside on New Zealand US dollar. US dollar ZAR, sideways and coming down, correlated to US dollar CAD. So US dollar ZAR, look for this to come down to this level. So we'll be looking for this structure here. Let's just draw it cleanly. So this could make a structure like this. And internally here, you've got a lower degree red like that. So you've got this one, that is the start of the move, and all of this red correction is the white, and then you look for this one to continue higher. So we're looking for a continuation to the downside on the South African rand. Around this level, we should see a bounce. So this is still within the corrective structure, but the main thing is to make sure that when this external corrective structure is complete, you get this move, because that is what you're looking for. You're not looking to trade these short moves within the corrective structure. Here we're focusing the end of the correction so that we can get the trend. The trend is what we trade. We trade this. We're looking for a similar move after this. That is US dollar ZAR. Let's look at the yen pairs. Looking at the yen pairs, US dollar JPY. Let's look at this. You can see that I've got a diagonal forecasted there. I'm not looking for, I don't think that's going to play out. Looking at, I forecasted this diagonal before this move to the upside. Now, the reason why I say that that diagonal will not play out and this is going to continue lower is because of this. Let me switch off the labeling here. It's going to continue lower because this move to the upside has gone up in 3 waves. This is 3 waves. So if it's a 3-wave move, that means it's only a pullback. We're still going to see a move to the downside. So also, our indicators have not confirmed that we're going to have a reversal there as yet. So we're still going to continue lower on US dollar yen. So expect continuation to the downside on US dollar JPY. Pound yen. Let's look at pound yen. I'm going to look at this one from the site, in the forecast from the site. Look at the index from the website. I want to look at the yen pairs. Let's look at the yen pairs. Right. Pound yen, this is what we're looking for. 2 or a week before, we wanted it to make a push to the upside and then come down. Okay, we've come down to about 131. We did not come exactly at the 130. We've made a pullback from current levels. Now the question is whether this is only a pullback and we're going to see one more down to complete the structure before we get this. So let's have a look at how this one is playing out. Let's clear and go to pound yen. So this is the structure on pound yen. A move down. This is the 3 waves. We expected it to push higher, about 134, but pushed up to 135. Now it has made a move to the downside. That was a forecast. Is this structure complete? It is similar to US dollar JPY. US dollar JPY, I was looking at the diagonal, but that move went up in 3 waves like this. Now, if it's going up in 3 waves, that means we may still have continuation to the downside. So that means upside is not there yet. So we'll be expecting one more down here first. Right? That is pound yen. Now, euro yen and CHF yen. Let's look at euro yen and CHF yen, the 2 structures that we looked a couple of weeks back. Euro yen has played out this move, has made a move to the upside, has made a move down here, even though it did not quite get, this is 113, you can't see the exact structure, the exact value here. This 113, it actually came around 115. Okay, so let's see how this has played out. We've got a move to the upside, we've got a move to the downside. We're seeing a pullback now. Is that the reversal? Let's see why there will be a reversal, whether there will be a reversal or not. EURJPY, I've explained exactly how this relates to CHFJPY. Now, what you're looking at here is 3 waves to the downside. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is at equal legs now. They're equal legs, and we've got a blue box here. Has made a reversal. Initially, this made a pullback here, and we thought that was the reversal. The reason why we're saying that was the reversal, let's open CHFJPY, was because CHFJPY at the time had already reached its blue box. Okay, CHFJPY had already reached its level here. 1, 2, 3, it had already reached here. So euro yen made the pulsing move, but CHF yen also made the pulsing move, but CHF yen was making it from the blue box. So that's why we thought, okay, if it's making from the blue box, maybe the euro yen also will reverse at that level. But now they have both reached the blue box. So there's a likelihood that we get a pullback and continuation to the upside. They've now reached the blue box. That means the correlation is direct. and this can make a move to the upside from current levels. So if they make this continuation to the upside, the structure that will be happening is this one here. Let's look at the structure. If we start making a move to the upside, we will be making this structure. We'll be making a very simple structure here, which is 3 waves up, 3 waves back, and 3 waves up. 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and 3 waves down. Now, if we start seeing this making a move to the upside, we'll simply be making this flat correction, which can be an expanding or a running flat. And that structure will be a W, this will be a X, and that will be a Y. Very simple structure. And after that, we expect something like this. And this is how we forecast the markets. Okay. So we've got a move to the upside. This needs to be confirmed by the indicator if it's going to continue up like that. So let's keep an eye on this. Otherwise, this can be a pullback and continue lower. If it continues lower, then we're going to have to relook at the structure again. So that's Euro Yen and CHFJPY. CAD Yen. CAD Yen is sideways, but the structure we can see clearly. We can see the structure clearly now. We've made a move down here. This is a pulsing move. Another pulsing move in the lower degree. Another pulsing move in another degree. So we've got 3 degrees here. The green, red, and yellow. 1, 2, 3 there. So that means we're expecting CAD Yen to continue higher in the next coming session to at least that level. And we'll expect a pullback here and another move here and continuation to the downside. So what we'll have here is an ABC structure. So that is here, corrective structure that we'll be looking for. So for now, we are here. We're looking for it to continue higher, at least up to that level. So you can see that there are short moves. We're only expecting short moves. And if it's only short moves, that means the risk to reward ratio to trade this is compromised. So you don't want to be trading in a corrective structure. You want to at least trade this move and this, and especially this one, because this last one here is similar to this one. So these are the kind of moves that you want to be trading, not these sideways consolidations. This is a consolidation corrective structure. All right, so that's CAD. So look for this to just come and take the top here. Short move there, can still do that, and that. Oh, sorry, not like that. Up there, down, up, and then down. So that will be the complete structures. Consolidation, we're going sideways there. Audi Yen will continue higher. Has made 3 waves up, has made an expanding flat. Actually thought this was a pullback here, but looks has made an expanding flat. We should see continuation to the upside. On Audi Yen, New Zealand Yen, same, continuation to the upside. Has also made this structure 3 waves up, 3 waves back, and looks like we're making a continuation to the upside. Any pullback here, you can take it to the upside. That's what we're going to be looking at on New Zealand. Now looking at silver and gold. Gold, let's look at the 4-hour. Now gold has got a clear structure, but it's corrective. It's going sideways. You can see that they're consolidating. So that means for the next week, first couple of sessions, maybe up to Wednesday or so, we should be seeing corrective structures, right? So let's see how this corrective structure is playing out on gold. We're looking for this to continue higher eventually after this, but we need to be able to identify when this completes, because when it completes, that's when we want to catch the trade to the upside. So what I'm seeing here on gold is a very clear structure. We see this is a corrective structure here. This has made 3 waves here. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. The pullback, and we're looking for this one to come down here. Now, if that is the case, then we've got a pulsing move here in 5 waves. We should get another pulsing move at the end there. The move started with this structure. Let's get a different color. We started with this pulsing move in down here and this one here. So you can see that it's still going to be consolidation, and that is the case for most of the pairs this week. Wait, be patient, and wait for the corrective structures to play out. So that's why you see that we've got a number of alternatives on the structures. That's because of the corrective nature of the market currently. So after this correction, after this consolidation, you'll be looking for a push to the upside. Now, how do we label this? This is an A, this is a B, this is a C. Internally, you've got the same. You've got a lower degree A, B, and a C. Okay, let me just remove this, clean it up a bit. Clean this up, clean this up. Now, in the yellow degree, we've got 3 waves. There's 3 down here, 3, W. So that's W, not A. That's W, that's X. You'll be expecting this B, this move here to end with a Y. So that means 3 waves down here. So you can see consolidation. As much as we can see the structure, we don't want to be trading within this structure. You want to trade when this is complete. When this gets out of here, it will give you an entry, the indicator will confirm, and then you get a move to the upside. Right, let's look at silver now. Silver. So silver, let's just switch on the labeling here. So silver, I'll be expecting this to follow gold as well. With 1, 2, move down here, and then continuation to the upside. So we'll be looking for this structure on silver. Silver structure is much simpler than that of gold. So we'll be looking for this and then upside. Right, that is silver and gold. Brent crude oil. It's making a bounce in 5 waves. This is what we showed last week, that we're coming up in 5 waves. We're correcting here in wave 4. We'll be looking for this to push up for a 5 year. Only then we'll expect a bigger corrective structure to the 38 or 50% of this whole move. Okay, simple. We are within this corrective structure, which is only a wave 4. Right, that is Brent crude. Pound chief. Pound chief looks like it's going to make a move to the downside, same as pound US dollar. 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 waves all around. You've got 1, 2, 3 here. You've got 1. I just need to see the internal wave here. We've got 1, 2, 3 waves there as well. We've got 1. We're going to be looking at this as a 2 and a 3. So this is a move to the downside. Again, this is a short move within the corrective structure. You're not looking for these short moves. We're looking for the bigger ones. We're looking for the bigger structures like this. We'll be looking for this. For now, we're looking for continuation to the downside on pound chief. And the rest of the pound pairs, if you just look at the website, what we focused on there, what we focused on the pound pairs, we focused that we're gonna get pullbacks. Let me just go back to the website. I think I showed this last week. The expectation on the pound pairs. Let's go to the pound pairs. Look at the pound pairs, and we're looking at pound AUD. Now, pound AUD is a very interesting pair. Let's look at pound AUD. So this is the move to the downside. We've made a move down here, and we're looking at this one. We're looking for this one to make a 3-wave pullback, but it has made just a sharp pullback, and it's continuing down there. Right, so let's have a look here. Back on pound. So this is what we got. So we're here. We focused on that we're going to get here. We're going to have a 3-wave pullback. Did not make a 3-wave pullback, just made a sharp move. So that is what we're going to, so this is just going to continue lower here. Let's go 4 hour. We're actually on the 4 hour. This would have expected it to bounce up here, but we're not expecting a bounce because this is sharp. So this will look at as an impulsive move, as a corrective move, and we'll look at this one to continue lower. This is going to continue lower, and that is the theme for this week. So the pound pairs continue to go down. Okay, pound US dollar, we'll look at it to continue lower. Pound chief continue lower, but just for the short term. Okay, so that is pound AUD, pound New Zealand also lower. Pound New Zealand, we can see the structure that it's making. It's a pullback there, and here we've got a 3 waves in this white degree. 1, 2, running flat here. This is a running flat. And we're making in this one here. This running flat is incomplete, it can come back to this level. Only then can we expect a bounce from that level. And then we'll look for this to continue with this move that started here. That move that started here, correction, and then downside. So look for continuation to the downside. So this will lead pound AUD. As you can see, pound AUD structure is not clear. All we know about pound AUD is that it's going to continue down for a long time. Okay, I'll show you again the pound AUD structure in the higher degree, why we're looking for it to continue lower. So this, even if it pulls back, it can break down here, make a running flat and continue lower. Now pound Audi, the reason why I'm saying it's going to continue down for a long time is because of this. If you look at the daily, let's see if we can see it on the daily. If you look at the daily on pound Audi, the structure here is this. It's a very simple structure. Look at the blue, follow the blue. If you follow the blue, there's 3 waves in blue, back X, and then Y in blue. Now, we have started a move to the downside, and that means this is going to correct that whole move, and that can get up to around the 34 area. I mean the 174 area, which is the 50% of the whole move, or it can even go lower to this level. So pound Audi, we've got a clear trend. If we've got a clear trend like you do on pound Audi, all you do is you wait for pullbacks, you keep selling them. You wait for pullbacks, you keep selling them. That is pound Audi. Right, pound New Zealand, I've already shown you, they're running flat there. Let's go back to the lower degree, the 4 hour. Pound CAD. So pound CAD, we're still looking to build this corrective structure. This one can still continue lower and make a zigzag here. So we've got this one as a setup for continuation to the downside, but the risk to reward is a bit compromised here, because if this is the structure, this one we can still see it continue higher. For now, pound CAD will still continue lower up to this level. That is pound CAD. Let's go to the euro pairs. Now euro pound, we're looking at this one to be making a corrective structure here like this, which will eventually result in this pushing lower and the pound pairs pushing higher. Okay, so for now, they're still pushing a little bit lower. So the structure we'll be looking for here, you can see that we've got 3 waves. Let me change my color here. We've got 3 waves up here that is giving us a W, and we're looking for these to give us another 3 waves here in X. Let me switch it off so we can show you the structure only. And if that is the case, we can still get another 3 waves here. Then we'll look for this to continue lower. But those are not just lines. This is a W. This W is showing that regular flat, and the X will be that zigzag. This can be any corrective structure. I've shown a regular flat here, but it can be any corrective structure. It can be a zigzag, can even be a triangle, and we'll be looking for this. So that's a move down here in 3 waves, 3 waves correction, and then downside. It's also consolidation. You can see they're all going sideways, and this is only on the 4 hour. Okay, so we still have a couple of days of these corrective structures to play out. That's Euro Pound, Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand has made this corrective structure. It's a running flat. Now this one should continue lower. Okay, we've got 3 waves down here. We'll be expecting this to just continue lower. That is Euro New Zealand, and Euro Audi as well. Euro Audi as well should continue lower. You can see Euro Audi is similar to pound Audi, so we just expect this one to continue lower like that. Any pullback, you keep selling. The trend is clear, it's downside. Euro CAD, clear structure as well. Now Euro CAD makes a move to the downside and pulls back in a running flat. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. We're currently coming down with the red degree. So that's why we're saying the euros should continue lower. And all the pairs that have got a CAD as the code should continue lower, because oil is getting stronger, as you've seen. We're showing that wave, oil is going for a wave 5 in the green degree. So we should see CAD, Euro CAD continue lower here. Euro Chief, follow the rest of the Euro pairs and continue lower. Let's look at the crosses.
He's in the bathroom.
Now the structure here may be changing. This looks rather impulsive now. That's why we've made these adjustments. So we're looking at this one to be making a wave 4. This is still going to continue higher here within this corrective structure. A pullback will mean that this wave 4 is a regular flat, and we're going to still continue higher. Interesting about AUDJPY is that it's got a similar structure to Audi New Zealand. I showed Audi New Zealand last week. Let me show you how we focus at Audi New Zealand. Let's look at Audi New Zealand. Don't know if I've got Audi New Zealand here. I don't think I've got it. Let me quickly check here. No, I can't find Audi New Zealand. Let me check on the website if it's updated. Let's go to the crosses on the site and look at Audi New Zealand. Very interesting pair, cross pairs. Why do we call them cross pairs? That's simply because there are pairs that do not include the US dollar. They do not have the US dollar in them. So we forecasted this one from right here at the bottom. If you look at last week's webinar on the trade recaps, you'll see that we forecasted this one from here to continue higher like that. And interestingly, we had forecasted that this was the one in the higher degree, and this was going to give us 3 waves in green like that, 5 waves in green rather, and then a pullback for a wave 4. Now we are here. This is the latest chart. This is the latest update. Now we're looking for this one to pull back and continue to the upside for the wave 4. Now that is what we're going to be looking at on Audi New Zealand. We're looking for that pullback. Very clear structure. Look for this one to come down at least up to that level. If you look at AUDJPY, yes, it's similar to Audi New Zealand. So this is a pulsing move. This is a 3-way move. This can continue up here or it can come down here. Otherwise, either way, it's still going to be a wave 4. We're not looking to trade within the corrective structure. We're looking to trade when the corrective structure is complete. So we're tracking this so that we can know when the end of wave 4 is, so that we can trade the wave 5. We don't trade corrective structures. Right, AUDJPY. AUDJPY, we should see a pullback with the rest of the pairs that have got the CAD as the code. We should see a pullback here. This was our trade of the week. Last week, what I was looking for was for these to make a pullback in 3 waves. So we're looking for this one to have been made an A, a B, and a C. But this is still going to continue higher because this is going sideways. So if it's going sideways, that means it's a continuation pattern. So we'll still see this one pulling back and then continue higher. In any case, there's on all the pairs that have got the Audi, you can see that the Audi is strong. Australian dollar is quite strong, so we'll be looking for this to continue higher. Okay, just adjust this here. This will be here. This will be here, and this is that's clear. So you can just adjust the structure. This is 3, and this is going to be a wave 4. So we're looking for this to be a wave 4. And you can see that that wave 4 is only in the green degree. We should still have, like we started here with a diagonal, 1, 2, and then we're going to have 4 and a 5. And this will be a wave 5 here in green. Wave 5 in green, and then continue higher. So wave 4 up and then downside. Clear structure on AUDJPY, but we're not going to get this one coming down as we initially forecasted. New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, we're looking for a pullback. You should see it push higher. We'll be looking for this structure. The structure that we're looking for here in the higher degree is this. A pulsing move down. Let's use yellow. It's more visible, or rather red. Pulsing move down, correction, and then downside. So we're looking for this move. And where does this start? We started with this move to the upside. So this will be a whole correction in the white degree, and we'll be looking for that. So we're looking for the pulsing move down here, and we'll be looking for a continuation to the upside. So the CAD pairs that have got all the CAD pairs that have got the CAD as a code, we're looking for them to come down like that. That is New Zealand CAD, New Zealand CHF. New Zealand CHF, we've made a expanding flat there. Look for it to continue higher. That's what we have there. You've got 3 waves up, 3 waves pull back in that expanding flat, and continuation to the downside. That's 1, 2, 3 there internally. This should continue higher. CAD CHF. Lastly, that's CAD CHF. Again, this is also, you can see that this is going sideways, it's going up correctively. So this here looks like, let's just have a look here what the labeling is here. It's a bit of a complex structure here. That is a WXY structure. So you've got 3 waves up here. And now we're looking at this to be another 3 waves pullback. Let's use a different color, 1, 2, 3. So we're looking at that. Let's switch off the labeling so you can see the structure only. And now we're looking for this. Can push up higher, but we may get a corrective structure that is similar in size as this one. Then the structure will be complete, and that will be a WXY structure. Very clear with this. And internally here, if you wanted, this will be an A, B, C, W, no, rather ABC. A, B, C. This is a 3, 3, 5 regular flat. Now we'll be looking for this one to be a 3-wave structure as well. And it will be a WXY structure. And that's all for this week, guys. Trade responsibly. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. Trade responsibly. Have a great week. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.